It's a passage from St. Paul to the Corinthians where St. Paul safeguards, drawing attention to the need we have to care for the treasure that is faith. He says, "But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. For we who are alive are always being given over to death for Jesus' sake, so that his life may also be revealed in our mortal body. So then, death is at work in us, but life is at work in you." This treasure we carry is in jars of clay. When we speak here initially that our faith doesn't always have the maturity to understand this partnership between God and humanity, or even to realize that in this partnership, the primacy is always of divine grace. St. Augustine said that we are not capable of doing good unless good had first been given to us. So you see, what I do because God has already done it in me. God only asked for what he's already given us. Look at how interesting this is. If he asked me to love, it's because he has already given me love before. If he asked me to be good, it's because he has already given me goodness before. It's the corroboration of this word. I cannot be by myself. It is always God who sustains me, who helps me. And that's why I need to identify in the daily life of my life, how can I live this partnership without pretending to be his advisor, to keep telling him, because the advisor is like that. I know because I have an advisor in my daily life, and I know how it works. Sometimes I'm there, ready to receive so-and-so, the advisor comes, his name, blah, 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 so that I can greet so-and-so when he arrives, already with the information. So it's that quick information. I'm in the van, and the girl is already talking. "Father, the event is such, talking about such and such who will receive us. It's Bishop so-and-so, I don't know what, blah, blah, blah. The priest will be there, this and that, so that I know who the people are." Sometimes we want to do the same thing with God. We think we're his advisor, that we're going to tell him all the news of the world. It's like that prayer we sometimes see out there, isn't it? "Oh Lord, look at him, how sad he is. Heal him, Jesus." Isn't that right? As if he were not able to know what needs to be done, as if the wisest one in the story were me. "You see, Lord, she's very upset with life. Come on, Jesus, fix this in her life." Folks, our prayer cannot have that load of arrogance. You know why? Because it doesn't mature us. Lord, we present the person. We present their reality. We believe in your love. We believe in your goodness. That's it. We become more humble in prayer, And then we'll also allow that prayer to clarify within us what we need to do for the miracle to come true. Because it's very convenient, isn't it? To believe in a Nestor God who is always at your disposal, ready to do everything you ask, the way you ask, and in the order you ask. And woe betide him if he doesn't do it the way you ask, when you ask. No, it can't be like that. Our faith has to give us the confidence that he does what really needs to be done, and that sometimes we don't even know. We're so limited that sometimes we think what God needs to do is move this thing from here to there. And we're convinced of that, when in fact, we might be very mistaken. No, God doesn't have to move this thing from here. He just has to drag it over here. And sometimes it takes us a while to realize that what we were asking for wasn't honest. And then God did everything the way we didn't want it. And we realized that it really was the best way to solve that situation. That's why faith should always give us the maturity of silence, of surrender. The other day, I was talking about this with a friend of mine who was very upset about a situation she was going through. And I noticed this anxiety due to the excess of requests, the excess of pleas, and of course, I respected it. I'm not in her. I'm not feeling the pain she feels. I'm not experiencing the despair she experiences. Oh, but if my opinion is asked, I don't miss the opportunity. Don't you think you should withdraw more, ask less? You've already asked. You know so closely the mercy of God. Why doubt it now? Because if I ask too much for the same thing, it's as if I were showing it to myself, not to him, folks. Prayer. We need to scale. It's what it does to us. If I ask too much for the same thing, I can generate within me a silent disbelief, or then a belief that God only answers when we insist. Insistence is not to change what he thinks. Insistence must be if it exists. And then we have to change the words. We have to stop asking him. We have to ask for ourselves. It's for our nature to be enlightened by ours, so that we can identify what needs to be transformed in us. Because if I insist too much on asking God to do this, to do that, every day I ask the same thing. Every day I ask the same thing. I'm considering that he is not capable of keeping in his heart what I have already surrendered. I wish that in your struggles, you always have the right and the possibility to withdraw your excesses so that you can have before your eyes your fundamental truth, without exaggeration, just you. And from that, you rediscover the path of life. Thank you for your kindness, for your attention, and may God bless you greatly. May God pour out on your heart, on your home, on your life, the disposition that characterized the heart of Our Lady, so that in her example, we too can be true Christians, always carrying Jesus in our arms to present him to those who do not yet know him. If something is bothering me, the first thing, what can I do to reduce this concern? Is there something concrete I can do? So, you have a pain, a betrayal. Have you already gone to the trader to return his garbage? Do you have something stuck, something you need to resolve within your heart, throw away, through words, a cry, I don't know, some action of yours that can diminish this feeling of discomfort? We need to do it. It's the same with concern. When something worries me and I discover in that concern what I can do to diminish the effect of that concern on my life, and I do it, then I start to open the doors for that past to start to pass. Because otherwise, we'll dam up the experience that wasn't worth it. We'll hold within us the event, the happening that hurt us, that injured us, and then we'll live a continuous process of injuries and wounds. Because the memory, the resentment, the bitterness, they only provoke new wounds within us. I've never seen anyone healed by holding on to resentment. What is resentment? To resent. It's feeling several times. It's as if you took a razor blade and kept passing it over the same spot on your skin. It will never heal, and the cut gets worse. Because you keep damaging the skin, keep damaging. You're losing the opportunity to live the healing. Isn't that so? Have you noticed that when it starts to heal, it gets a little itchy? Isn't that so? Healing causes an itching sensation, right? It's the same inside us. You can observe there are many effective situations that sometimes we are starting to recover from them. Then you have that feeling every now and then of wanting to pick at the scabs of healing. Hold that there. Manage to keep your hatreds under control. Manage to keep your resentments under control. Manage to keep your needs under control. And then you start to experience the liberation process from the negative consequences that fact has caused you. That's life. Everyone gets hurt. I can't create a dome for myself. You can't create one for you. So every now and then people will hurt us with words. People will hurt us with actions. Now, you can't allow the word that hurts and the action that hurts to cause wounds in your being and to last longer than they should. It reached your being. It went deep into your life. It went deep into your heart. Start finding a way to heal that. Because once you have a wound in your being, you run the risk of infecting everything. In affections, that's how it works, right? Sometimes something comes, hurts our heart. We lose the disposition for everything. Lose the disposition for studies, lose the disposition for work. Why? This has an impact. It affects us. Now, the time it will take for what affects you needs to be managed by you. After all, it's your being at stake, right? And suddenly you start doing everything wrong because your being is hurt. So there's always a little wound there in your being that needs to be cared for. My people, this is an exercise for every day. You see, living the experience of being with Jesus is managing within us all these healings that we need to experience so that we become like Jesus, I want to be like him, but to be like him, I need to heal many things that are wrong in my being. I need every now and then to visit my past, to understand the present. Why am I sometimes arrogant? Was there a time in my life when I was humiliated too much? And because I was humiliated too much, I have difficulty managing the moments when someone contests me. No one is by chance. Healing of being happens. When we pray, when I ask God to come and heal my heart, to come and heal my mind, these are expressions we use all the time. But God often heals our heart, heals our mind through our reflection. When you start to put your disordered feelings in order, when you start to regain the harmony that life and events sometimes take away. And that's what I wish for you, that in today's day of your life, of your story, you are committed to healing the wounds of your being. If they hurt you, don't take that with you. Just take it as a lesson for you not to do it to others. But don't let it turn into bitterness, sadness. To be creative, it has to exert within us the movement of overcoming. So, why am I sad? Why am I hurt, upset? I observe that moment. I live that moment as a purpose of overcoming. Because if I don't overcome, I run the risk of turning it into bitterness. And bitterness doesn't do the heart good. A bitter heart can't perceive life. A bitter heart remains focused on the same things. When we focus on the same things, when we don't broaden our view, we run the risk of making our life experience unhappy. From all of us at Path of Faith, thank you for being part of today's discussion. We value your input, so please share your thoughts in the comments, show your support with a like, spread the message by sharing, and subscribe to stay connected with us on our journey of faith.